naked shamanism. Welcome to With Insights Radio. I'm your host, Iggy Garcia. I will take you on a journey across the universe through shamanism, metaphysical, and holistic. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show.
Yep, it's live.
All right. All right. Welcome to Iggy Garcia Live, episode 96, town hall meeting, asking questions and answer, Q&A, like they say, with my friends here, Hayden and Kate. We are going to be just taking your calls, answering your questions the best we can. We also want to hear what you have to share, things that are on your mind, things that are happening, things that you just want to talk about. There is no call-in number. Basically, what we're asking you to do is to just tune in. There's a link at the page, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it popped up. If not, you can go to my timeline and you can find it there. And really quick, what I'll do is I'm going to go to that live feed and I'm going to mute it so it doesn't. Yeah, there I am. Talking to myself. I'm going to send the link on here real quick. All right, very good, very good. There it is. All right, very good. So how are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Doing good? Doing good?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, shading side to side a little bit. Got a little side to side shake. Shake. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to light a candle. And today we're going to light the candle giving thanks to our ancestors. But we're also going to light this candle to honor those who have lost their lives, those who are sick, those who are struggling right now, for those who've lost somebody, those who are not sure of what's going on and what they're going to do, and for those who really need a lot of love and a lot of attention right now, especially the little kids, who need kids with special needs who, touch is part of their therapy. Right now, they're having a struggle with that. So I want to think about those children and adults as well. Our time is a little different. Our times have changed, and that's kind of where we are right now. Light this real quick here. Light this candle. And everybody who comes on, we'll let you back in here in a second. So we light this candle. Just take a second here to just feel and process the things that we're feeling. Great Spirit, God, whatever you connect with, we raise our hands up into the sky and we pray and we ask and we meditate and we share and we say, hey, right now we are just struggling. We're going through a lot of changes and we need some guidance and we need some love and a lot of attention for ourselves and for one another. So this candle, we raise it to all those who are suffering right now and for those who are going through a very difficult moment. As a human being, as humanity, we are being tested. Our feelings, our emotions, everything that we could possibly be tested right now is being tested. The physicality of us, social distancing, isolation, all the things that is not a normal attribute to human survival right now is being tested. So I just ask the Great Spirit guide us and lead us in our guides and our higher self. Help us and lead us in the path on this new journey that we're on. And hopefully from this new journey, we bring new tools and new things that will help us make it through this time, this uncertainty. And with that, I say aho. I light a little sage.
Aho.
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 And I see Krista's in the room. Thanks, Krista, for joining us.
Pleasure.
And so I'm going to have to mute here real quick, okay? So we were a little sage, a little purification, a little cleansing. Just give that good energy and that good space. A little agua florida. Gives me an excuse to touch my face,
Scratch your beard.
scratch my beard. All right, here we go. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. We hope that you can stick around with us for a little bit. And today, this show is about you. Those are who are going to be popping in and out and sharing your stories with us. And right now, we have someone online, and her name is Krista. She's a friend of ours. The three of us know her. And I'm going to bring her on here, and I'm going to ask her to share what is going on in her life, what is happening, what's new, if she has any questions for us. Yeah, maybe we have questions for her. You know, who knows? We just don't know. That's, spirit is works in mysterious ways. So, Krista, you've got the floor for a little bit. So whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to share. Hey, don't mean to put you on the spot like that.
Oh,
But hey, here we are.
it's okay. I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't want you on the spot. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Cool. Well, Iggy, I want to first thank you for being with us through all of this, man, because it's just been a whirlwind for everybody. And your drum circles and your podcast and everything, it's just been grounding like you would not believe. So for that, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, as y'all know, I was in Mexico for a month, and it was wonderful, beautiful. The people were awesome, but man, when this thing started, it got ugly down there.
Really?
A little island, 5 miles long, half-mile across, and when they started shutting stuff down like they were here, it was a huge impact because they're just a small place with very few people, and it all of a sudden people that were friendly to us weren't friendly to us anymore.
Wow.
And it was kind of like money became an issue. I just didn't feel comfortable. And I got a sign on Sunday night that said, "You need to go." And I said, "I'm out of here." I booked a flight the next morning. And I was grateful for your offer to pick me up. But a friend, Jill, picked me up. And I'll tell you what was great about that was she was like, "Fuck this shit. I don't," because that was the day they started telling everybody that you couldn't leave. She's like, "I don't care about the cops. I don't care if they pull me over. I'm coming to get you." And the very first thing she did as soon as she saw me was just give me the biggest hug. And that's the only contact I've had since I've been home. And it's just the greatest thing. I hold on to that because I think that's what we're all starting to feel now is that lack of contact. Some of us are fortunate enough to be in situations where they have people in their homes, they have families. I'm not in that kind of a situation. I have a person that I'm with, but there's no relationship. My parents are under quarantine at their house. They were in Florida, and due to their age, came in some contact. So they're pretty much housebound. I don't have a lot of contact with them right now. My family's in Virginia. I actually have a niece. She's 25, recent master's in speech pathology, and she's actually working through all this. So I have someone that I'm concerned for every day. And then I know we've got friends working in the grocery stores, and for me, no job, didn't have anything to come back to, and everybody's like, "Well, there's work out there," and I was like, "Yeah, but the situation I'm in, I would be really concerned about bringing something like that home to my husband. Granted, he's soon to be an ex, but I worry about that. He's a smoker and he's got a cough, and I'd be concerned about bringing something home. I'm stronger and healthier than I'm 100 pounds lighter, Iggy. 100 pounds, dude.
Wow.
100 pounds. I hit the mark the other day.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
That's awesome. That's great news.
Yeah, it is. Through all of this for me, it's been fantastic. I've been meditating constantly, which I never did before. And I still am. Been going through some major shifts this week. Some of you are aware of it. And although it sounds not so good, but for me, it's been fantastic. I mean, it's scary sometimes because it's new. Y'all know that I haven't been awake for very long, but it's been awesome. I love it. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, I think I've noticed the shift in the energy. I've seen and heard people on Facebook. That's my only contact, really. I've seen and heard a lot of people have been feeling a lot these last few days. And I know the full moon's energy really kicked us this time. And I know we've all been feeling it. So I've noticed, though, today, there seems to be a little bit more of an upbeat feeling to it. Doesn't feel quite as claustrophobic as it did yesterday. I don't know if that's all the positive energy I'm getting from you, but it's working. We just need to keep it up.
Good.
So don't let me go. I'll talk forever.
Okay.
You all know me. I'm a chatterbox when I get going.
No, that's okay. Yeah, you guys have any questions for Krista? Anything you want to... She was in Mexico, so she gets a whole different perspective.
Yeah. What down in Mexico, like you said, you were in a small town down there?
Yeah, I was actually in Isla Mujeres, which is an island just off Cancun, and it's literally 5 miles long, half mile across.
Okay.
Relies completely on tourism, and they were going into their slow season to begin with. The lockdown had already started here, but it hadn't hit down there yet, and they literally had no forewarning. I mean, one day they were all up and running, and then all of a sudden they came around and said, we're shutting everything down, bars, restaurants, all of it. Wow. And for that small of a community, it really hit hard. I mean, within a day, the beaches were just empty. And then Mexico cut everything off to them. When I left on a Monday. I still have a friend down there that we've been in contact, and he sent me a post just the other day that they're pretty much under a martial law on their island.
Really?
Anybody found, because there's really no work for them to do.
Okay.
They have one major grocery store. That's it, owned by Walmart, what I found funny. So all the restaurants are closed. You know, I don't know if they're still doing food deliveries or not, but for them, it was just the streets are dead. I mean, there's nobody. He said if they're found on the streets after 8 o'clock at night, they are arrested.
Wow.
But the hardest part is the only way you get to this island is by ferry.
Okay.
And they shut the ferry down. About a week after I left. So those people on that island, they're literally cut off. Boats are not allowed to touch the harbor. Boats are not allowed to come and go. They have some type of a military base on the island. So it's like, man, they're done. They're on lockdown completely. So, you know, for me, it's like, it was a good sign to get out, because I don't think it would have been a good situation for me to be in. And being down there by myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was all good though while I was there. I look forward to going back someday.
Okay. Nice. Very good.
Yeah. So you had any other questions, Hayden?
Well, how is, I know you, like, when you went down to Mexico, that was like a big transformation for you. So I'm curious to kind of know how that's been evolving and stuff.
Yeah, for me, it was, you know, I've been here in Columbus my whole life, which is 54 years. I've never lived anywhere else. I've traveled, but not a lot. And with my transformation, what I felt that I needed was literally a judge-free zone. And although I could find that at the Reiki Center, as you know, I couldn't live there, even though they said I did. They all were like, hey, she's got a tent on the roof. And my husband and I have 25 years are splitting up. I've chosen that path, and it's all good. And that's where I'm at now. But I just I felt a desire to have a space away from my life here, so that there was no one that knew anything and couldn't judge me for anything. But at the same time, I fell in love with the island. I've been there twice now, and when I was there in November, it's just a beautiful place, surrounded by beach, the ocean, the Caribbean. The people are wonderful, and it really felt like a good place to be. It just wasn't a good time. Timing was not good.
Right.
But yeah, it's for me, it was meditation was something that I was not familiar with even before I left.
Okay.
I would participate in some things. So when I got down there, my archangels and spirit guides really started talking to me, and that's pretty much all I did. I spent the first 2 days sleeping. I literally slept for 2 days solid. My
Yeah.
friend Joseph, I know Hayden knows Joseph well. He said, you need to take time. Your body needs to get in sync with the rest of you. And he wasn't kidding. And then the meditation started. I would meditate for hours, 3, 4, 5 times a day, sometimes almost constant. You know, from being in a beautiful place like I was, I only visited the beach twice.
Hmm.
And that was this one day. Archangel Ariel sent me a real vivid vision and then said, go to the beach. I'm like, okay, that's a half an hour, 45-minute walk, but I caught a bus and made it down there. And I actually ended up meeting some beautiful people that day. I was just out in the ocean by myself, and this young girl approached me, and next thing I know, we're on a boat owned by one of the gentlemen who owned a hotel on the island. There were just seven guys, older gentlemen. They come every Thursday. They enjoy the music, the ocean, the sun, and they just hang. And that's all I did for a whole day. I mean, just sat and partied and ate and drank and jammed to old music and watched the sunset and walked my way back to the beach, caught a bus back to my place. But
Nice.
it was the best day. So yeah, there were some good things from it. And I didn't have any bad experiences. Just towards the end, things got kind of hairy.
Yeah.
But
Understandable.
yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah, and everyone was scared. And I think for the locals down there, they looked at us Americans as we brought it.
Yeah.
That was they were like, we were bringing it to them, especially on that island. They were like, you're bringing it. You brought it. We don't want you here. And I'm like,
They're like, damn, get her out of here.
I'm gone.
Get out.
Yeah.
Vete.
Yeah. I was
All right.
like, okay, see ya.
That's funny. All right. Well, hold tight because we'll bring you back on here in
I'm
a
not going
second.
anywhere.
All right. So yeah, that's a pretty cool story. I really appreciate Krista saying that. I'm gonna bring someone else on here real quick. Hopefully they will want to talk. Ronnie, can you hear me here? Ronnie, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, Ronnie.
Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys?
What's happening?
What's up? How's it going?
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
Yep,
Yeah.
here you good.
But can you see me?
We can see a picture of you. Looks like
How do
you're looking away from us.
How do I get this? Let me think. Sorry, guys. I'm new to this.
Are you on a phone or a laptop or desktop?
I'm on
somewhere
my Mac.
somewhere on their phones and somewhere on their laptops. I'm on my laptop.
So there should be a little video thing in the bottom left-hand corner of the window of Zoom. You just click on that. It's probably got stop video crossed off. So you just click on the stop video and it'll bring the video up.
Okay.
If you have a webcam.
Yeah, I do. I'm clicking it and not doing anything.
Okay.
Let me see.
Man, you sound like you're Peruvian, man.
I know. I want you guys to see me.
We can come back to you if you want. If you feel more comfortable us seeing you.
No, I mean, I'm listening to what Hayden said. I'm looking at next to the icon, there's an arrow pointing up.
Yeah.
It says select a microphone, select a speaker, a test speaker, switch to phone.
Try just clicking directly on the stop video. It should come on if there's not a cross across the stop video.
Weird, I'm clicking it.
Start video, yeah.
It's so weird.
That's weird.
I know.
Well, anyhow, Ronnie, you've been kind of listening to our conversation here, and today is kind of like your show. So if you have questions for us, or if there's something you want to share about your experience during this time, go for it while you're clicking your buttons.
Yeah, I'm gonna play with this while I. Anyway, you guys can hear me though, at least, right?
Yeah, we can.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So, nice to meet you guys. My name's Ronnie. I'm 28 years old. I moved here to Columbus actually in 2014, January. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I'm a real outgoing guy. I went to Ohio State University. I love to play soccer. That's how I met Iggy, and that's how I was introduced to this platform, which I'm all about. I support completely. I love it. And, you know, throughout this whole pandemic, I've really just been busy here in my house working. I actually work for the county treasurer downtown, guys. I actually have to go to the office roughly throughout the week. But in my spare time here, you know, I'm all about just like self-meditating. I like to read a lot of books like Robert Greene, the Laws of Humanity, Human Nature. I'm really big on things like that. So I'm hanging in there, guys. I'm staying positive. As you guys saw my questions yesterday.
Oh, I know, they were awesome.
Oh yeah, those
Yeah.
are great questions. Yeah.
Really thoughtful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, we're all connected to this at the end of the day. You know, I talk to my friends, I talk to people at work, and, you know, it's crazy because I tell everyone, you know, this is not a time to determine whether you're a Democrat, Republican. This is not a time, in my opinion, to determine who's more important, who's higher ranked. You know, this is all about us as one nation, as one, you know, community, as people, as humanity, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just a little bit things about me, you know. I'm all about learning new things. You know, just I don't know how to say it. I'm just a positive guy, you know. I'm trying to see this camera. I want you guys to see me. I'm smiling. I'm really happy.
We can hear it in your voice.
Yeah,
You sound happy. Yeah.
Cool. But no, everything else is good in my world, guys. You know, I really enjoyed tuning in to see what you guys have to see. You guys' beliefs, you guys rock. I think we definitely need more people like this in the world, you know, to really come together like this, because there's so many things everyone goes through in life. We all have our own personal problems, you know, we all have our own situations. I was hearing too, I forgot this wonderful woman who was speaking about Mexico. I don't know her name. I'm so sorry.
Her name is Kate.
Kate.
Or not Kate. No, Krista. Sorry. That's Krista.
I was not in Mexico.
My family's from Mexico.
She astral projected. Right, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying my family's from Mexico as well, Krista, so I can relate to everything you're saying. I was actually gonna go to Mexico in May, guys, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. So, you know, we'll see.
All right, Ronnie. Well, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll probably bring you back on and see if you have any other questions as we continue with our show here.
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing, Ronnie. Appreciate that. So you guys out there in Facebook land who are watching the live stream, okay, I have added a link that you just click. You have to download the Zoom app, okay, in order to get on the show here live with us, to share your experiences about what you're going through during this time of pandemonium or pandemic, whatever you want to call it. Right now, if you want to just click the link, it'll take you, it'll send you to this page, and then I'll see you pop in and then I'll bring you on. This is a good way for us to heal. This is a good way for us to share. This is a good way to express. If you don't have an outlet right now, because there are a lot of people who don't have an outlet to express their feelings and emotions. Some people are at home alone by themselves. Like, for example, my son is by himself in New York City in his apartment. And, you know, he's doing the best he can, and he doesn't really get out much because, you know, they don't want to let you out really too much, except for necessities. He actually made a video today. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was really funny. It was hilarious. He's a musical theater, graduate. You know, that's what he does for a living. He's an actor. So he did a scene from a particular show that he did that he liked. And I guess that's the lady sounds just like that. He sounds just like the lady. And if you follow the link, you know, it is really funny. So check him out, because he's doing what everybody's doing. We're all doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, yesterday I shared my journey going to the cemetery with visiting my ancestors, visiting my family members. And that was really positive, and that was really a good time for me. And I had been wanting to do this for a while because my cousin, whose father, she was 4 when he passed away. I was in high school, my freshman year in high school, and when he passed away. And so this was an opportunity to make her a video of this and share that with her, and she was really grateful for that. So I was pretty excited. All right. I don't want to do all the talking here. So, Kate, what's going on in your world? What's new? How are you handling through all this chaos right now, if we want to call it chaos?
It depends on the day. I think I said that yesterday. Like, there are days that I think I feel really grounded and really centered and okay, and then days that I feel really emotional.
Mhm.
I think Krista hit it on the head about the full moon. I think that the full moon energy was really wild for whatever reason. And so I think I've been processing a lot of emotions, especially in the last 48 hours. And I'm just trying to work through that process right now and be as authentic as I can with what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. I have a tendency in myself to want to project, or not, I don't know if project is the right word, but I don't always like to feel all the feelings, especially when they're heavy. So I've been really trying to be authentic in that space and allow myself to just feel what I'm feeling.
Awesome. And I know it's different every day. You're feeling what you feel, and everything's a bit different. And I don't know about how about you, Hayden? I mean, yesterday, 48 hours ago, you're probably a little bit different than where you are today.
Yeah. I've been taking this time to take advantage of reflection and sort of meditation, like Krista was saying, and getting a sense of where I'm at and sort of where I want to be. Because I think when we're caught up in our jobs and our daily routines, it's easy to forget about what our true purpose is and sort of where we want to go with our life. So this is kind of a good time for me to reflect and sort of think about the long term. Because I wasn't necessarily getting complacent, but I was kind of coasting a little bit there. Yeah. So getting the sense of where I maybe need to push myself a little bit and get things done and build something and make something happen is a good place. It's a good place for me to sort of think about that right now and work on that kind of that stuff that we all have. You know, all of us have a project that we've put on the back burner for one reason or another. I see Krista pointing at herself. Yeah. And so yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on is finding those projects that need working on and making sure that I'm giving them the attention they need, but also giving myself self-love and being compassionate, not like hard on myself with it, because that's another trap to fall into, and then things like burnout and stuff happen. So it's a delicate balance, but having the encouragement and drive to do it with gentleness and compassion, but also consistency and discipline, I guess. Yeah.
You know, it brings me to the place where, right now I've been really like disconnected from people, to some degree. And I don't mean to be that way. I just, everybody's going through their process and they're going through what they need to feel. And sometimes I just don't want to talk to anybody. It's like, I'm glad that I have this forum, to be here and just share. But it's like, there's a part of me just like, I just don't want to say anything. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be and just kind of float and just exist sometimes throughout the day. It's not like I really want to be anything for anyone or anything for myself. I just kind of want to just leave me alone.
Yeah.
I have those moments right now. I'm just feeling that way right now.
Yeah, I can relate for sure. Yeah, little pockets of the day where I just want to like just go walk out in nature and just nothing, just that's enough, Yeah.
Yeah, and that feels real to me. And it's like,
Yeah.
it ain't that I don't want to hang out with you, and it's not that I don't want to do things with you or anything. It's just, I just need to be where I'm at, and that's kind of where I'm at. And it's really hard for people sometimes to understand that. And it's like, hey, I can't explain it either. I don't know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
We're all awakening. We're all changing. We're all discarding, letting go. So I'm having these feelings and these emotions of uncertainty about things, about life, about my situation, friendships, everything. The whole thing's just got, you have time to you're thinking about all this stuff. You're like going, my God, what is this? I'm gonna unmute everybody who's here, since we're not gonna get bombarded by a bunch of people. So anytime you guys want to chime in and say anything, just if you feel what I'm saying and you understand what I'm talking about, please just
I
pop
do.
in.
And for me, that's strange because I've been surrounding myself with new people these last 9 months. And when I went to Mexico, I wanted the solitude. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to meet people. I didn't want to be with anybody. I wanted to be alone for the first time ever, just be with myself. And that's odd for me. And anybody who knows me knows I'm chatty Cathy. I want to be a part of everything. But at the same time, almost that, as Hayden was saying, that self-care is really coming into play. I think that's something that we've missed. I think we've been so busy, people like ourselves, especially you, Iggy, I know, and Hayden and Kate both, what we do for people. And for me, it's just sometimes in the smallest of ways, it takes a lot. I'm one of those people that always, stands up for everybody and defends, and I'm always there for people, and I'm never there for myself. And I think we're taking that time now because we're realizing that we've been missing that. And I think that's, we've been missing that from our lives. And now that we're alone so much and with ourselves so much, I think that's why we feel that way. It's something we've been missing for a long time.
Yeah. Is anybody else in this little group feeling this? I mean, it's just me. I mean, sometimes I feel like it's just me, but I don't know, just, it's kind of strange.
Ronnie, your computer screen looks so nice.
Yeah, we could see your picture of you there.
So I'm thinking, I wonder if Iggy, since you're the one that invited me, do you have control of my speaker, or do I have control? I don't know.
Looks like you have control of mine.
I know.
I don't know what's going on.
He's screen sharing. He has to turn his screen share off. There should be a
But that's what it is.
yeah. There should be a stop screen share at the top of your screen, Ronnie.
I love that
Stop
Hayden
sharing.
walks everyone through the
There we go.
technology.
We saw the pictures of you and your wife. Sorry, I can't help you. You got to explain that to her. I think she's gonna be a little upset with you, buddy.
She's in the other room. She's perfectly fine. With me all day, trust me.
I don't have any. It doesn't say that you're off. Han,
Because I'm doing what Hayden was telling me, hitting start video.
oh, you should listen to Hayden right now.
At least your picture's up.
Yeah, we see a picture of you. Maybe you should log out and log back in and pick an option to go on video.
Yeah.
Now that you have the
I
link,
think that's a good idea.
go to the link on the Facebook, grab that link and come in through there. See if that works.
I actually took the link. I have the Zoom app and I'm on my phone, and I took the link to Safari and then it brought me into Zoom instead of going directly to Zoom. So it seemed to work once I got there.
Okay. Well, Ronnie's gone. Ronnie hijacked my computer.
That was so funny.
I was like, what was going on?
I was like, wait a second, is this a virus or something? And then I was like, oh, I see what's happening. Someone screen shared. I thought it was you at first, Iggy, but I didn't know other people.
Hey, I'm not that advanced.
For me, because I'm on my phone, all of a sudden everybody got really tiny up in the right hand corner, and all I could see was his computer.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's funny. Ronnie's a trip. Yeah, he's a good friend of my son's, and I've known him since he was a young kid.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just there's a group of kids that playing futsal and coaching them and working with them. It's fun to see them. Yeah. So you guys on Facebook land, I really encourage you to jump on here and join us in the Zoom app. It's a lot of fun. We're having a blast. As you can see, somebody tried to hijack my feed. And they almost did. And things like that happen sometimes, but I brought him in through the chat room. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Chat. So he must have I must have him restricted somehow, but obviously not too restricted because he's Mexican CIA, It's Ronnie. We joke all the time. So let me ask you guys. I posted some pictures, not pictures, some videos, today. And I don't know about you, but I get conflicted sometimes about everything that's going on. I run into these emotions of man, are we being duped? Is this real? Why can't the farmers? Why can't we buy everything that we want to buy? And then I watch this news media where the farmers have to destroy their crops or let them grow and die. Farmers are dumping milk down the drain. You know, it's like really frustrating me. Anyone want to run with that?
Whew, that's a tough
As
one.
Hayden says, a loaded question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just really bothersome, you know, because, you know, I mean,
It is.
it's like they told us don't panic buy. You know, and I understand, I get it, but it wasn't really panic buying. People were just trying to prepare themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense.
Except for the toilet paper thing. That did crack me up.
Yeah.
I was down in Mexico when all this started, and as I said, they hadn't done anything down there yet. And watching the videos and watching things that were happening, for me, it was really quite hysterical. All I could remember was times in high school, and Iggy, I'm your age, and remember, you know, having football games and going and raiding the toilet paper shelves and cleaning out Kroger's so we would go and see people's houses. I mean, that was what it was like flashing back to for me. But then when it happened in Mexico, the interesting part was that the island people, they immediately, from as soon as it started, they put limits on everything. And I saw no panic buying. I mean, and I was literally a 2-minute walk from the big grocery store. It was like a giant Sam's Club, Walmart kind of store. It had everything that you could need, and it was huge. There was no panic buying. The only thing that ran out after a while was eggs. That was the only thing I saw disappear. Other than that, meat was there, produce was there, dairy, frozen, everything you needed was still there. The shelves were not empty. The beans, the bags of dried beans, they went quick. But for everything else was still there. And it was funny to watch the differences from one place to another.
You know, it was interesting, you know, I mean, I still don't know why everybody bought toilet paper. I mean, it's kind of, I'm sure there's going to be a phenomenon. There's going to be some kind of documentary that'll come up about that, you know, at some point. Oh, you know,
the videos have been hysterical. That's for sure.
Yeah. But, you know, it's concerning for me, it's concerning because, you know, food is precious, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime, you know, you're throwing food out, you know, and you have to destroy it, you know, that's kind of a crazy situation. And Kate, you know, your job kind of falls in that area. Tell us a little bit.
It's heartbreaking to me. Yeah, it's heartbreaking to me to even hear those kinds of stories, because there are so many people who don't have access to food and who don't have access to food right now, and it's I'm still trying to process that, because I hadn't seen those videos until you brought it up. So I think I'm still trying to process it, but it's heartbreaking to me.
Yeah, those just came on the news, and I was just shocked. So I was like, I played them back and recorded them because I hadn't really heard anything like that. That hadn't come across my experience, you know, of what's going on out here. And it just totally blew my freaking mind. You know, I was just like, is this really happening? Are we
What
really
was the rationale? Why were they doing it?
Well, I mean, they were trying to explain that what happened was in the beginning, they told everybody not to buy everything, which makes sense. But here, there's two ways to look at it. What happened was, so people were limited to buying things. So stores limited them, and so they couldn't buy. So eventually what happened was we had to stay home. So people only bought the essentials.
Yeah, they put the word out to do that, to stop buying, hoarding, and giving it a chance to give them the chance to restock things.
So a family that would buy 6 gallons of milk could only buy 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And so basically they had to find a new way to adjust, buy evaporated milk and add water to it and create their own gallon of milk, you know. So there's different resources they had to figure out. And so basically they were attributing to what happened was that a lot of people just aren't buying in the restaurants and everything. This isn't globally, but this is in the United States alone. Restaurants aren't open. Big consumers of products are restaurants, are cafes and things that, you know, purchase tomatoes and vegetables and stuff. So this stuff's going bad. So my concern is, and we were joking around in the beginning, your tomatoes going to cost you a lot of money in August, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Things going to go up. So it's really concerning to me.
And we have to have access to food, and we have to make sure that food access, food is accessible to everyone, regardless of income. And there's already so many things that affect your access to food and your access to healthy food depending on income level. That to even hear that, I mean, it just hits my heart in such a strong way, because the need is huge, and the need is going to continue to grow because of what's happening economically, and kind of the economic ramifications of what's going on. So yeah, it's an issue I think we all have to be paying attention to, and doing the best that we can to care for all of the people that we know, because you know, sometimes people are in spaces where they are experiencing a degree of food insecurity. It could be somebody that you know that they don't share that information with you. So I think caring for each other is just so tremendously important right now.
And it's going to continue. Hey,
look whose video works.
Yeah, it's Rico Suave. He's back.
Welcome to the group.
Hey, Ronnie, what's up? You're back.
Can you guys see me and hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah, both.
And who's
All
on the
right,
right?
sweet.
We have someone on the right corner. I can't see them.
That's Sammy.
Oh, Sammy, there you are.
That's an old laptop, so the kids.
Let there be light. There you appear.
Yeah. I gotta have 3 lamps, and the laptop's
Nice.
really old and all that stuff. So
That's funny.
Who's the sweet kitty behind you?
it's Oliver. You probably see them on my post.
That's the
I
name
have
of
an
my
Oliver
cat too.
Yeah, and I have an Oliver too.
Oh, really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, my cat's Oliver as well.
That's
And I
hilarious.
have
funny.
Oliver.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so funny.
I actually did a session on a person, distance session, healing session, and he was like all in the space.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
He was in the area helping out, keeping that energy from being stagnant or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, kitties know.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
very intuitive. Cats know.
So, Sammy, I know you've been following my show, and you've been following the things that have been going on here, and everybody's been going through their own emotional things. So, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, since the show's about you guys today.
Well, I just recently found out yesterday that my job has been eliminated.
Oh, wow.
I've been there
Sorry to hear
for about 15 years, and it's a
Wow.
manufacturer's job.
that. Wow.
And I was 2 weeks on vacation, not voluntary vacation, but on vacation.
Right.
And when that kind of stuff happens, you either there's either 2 reactions. You can either act irrationally and emotionally, or you can use that as fuel to just push on, which that's what I did. In 2 weeks. I registered my healing business. I posted a website, and yeah.
Nice.
Hey,
Nice.
there's cool things that come out of some these things like this, you know? I mean, spirit kind of gets you and goes, all right, dude, guess what? Now you don't got your job. Now you got to figure something out. And then the imagination starts to move, and the juices start to flow. And the next thing you know, you're thinking about, okay, what have I been doing this whole time? A lot of us here have been working in the metaphysical community. Some of us have been dabbling, and some of us have been kind of reaching. And then now we've been put in a position now, okay, you don't have a job anymore. Now what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Structure. So there's a lot of imagination and creativity brewing in this time of being in isolation. In Ronnie's case, he has a job with the county, so it's a whole different thing, and he's coming from a whole different angle. And then Sam, you lose your manufacturing job, and now you create a new business, and we're all doing something creative, and we're all doing something really magical. Yeah, and I think that's where we're at right now.
And I mean, me and you've discussed a little bit about the things that's happened to me, and I was awakened when I was real young, like 8-9 years old.
Okay.
So I've been through a couple awakening points in my life, and this last one is about 2 or 3 months ago, where I just felt so disconnected from my human job that it was just like, there's no point. I don't see that as the next reality for me.
And that's where I am. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I had to walk away from all of it. You know, I've been in customer service on the phones, dealing with humans and people and helping them in that way for my whole life. And since my awakening in June, my empathic, all of it just fully opened. And it's like, I can't do it anymore. I physically cannot do it anymore. It was killing me. And I walked away in
Yeah.
November. And this whole thing with this pandemic and everything has really rocked my world, because I don't have the ability to get unemployment.
Yeah.
So, you know, that
Mhm.
when I left for Mexico, I didn't take a whole lot with me, and I came back with pretty much nothing. I came back with under $50 in my hand. And I'm fortunate enough, even though Sam and I are split, and he was kind enough to allow me to come back and stay here. You know, we've been together 25 years. We're friends, which is a good thing. But for me, it's like, what do I do now? You know, I'm in the middle
Mhm.
of learning and growing, and it's like, but
Mhm.
I won't give up. There's no way. I'll claw. I've been
Yeah.
through a lot in my life, and so most of you guys don't know a lot of my darkness and my past. It's okay, because I don't live there anymore.
Right.
But I'm a survivor. I've lived on the streets by choice. So there's nothing that I won't overcome. And so I'll get through this. So,
Nice.
but
That's
Sammy, I
right.
love your website. I've checked it out. It's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
It's been through a lot of revisions in the past 3 days.
I know, but it's looking good. You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna actively voluntarily leave my job, so Spirit made me leave.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
happened.
and they in my experience, they do that when you're ready to move on, move to the next evolution of your existence.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So I have a question for you guys. Hi Sherry, I see you popped in there down there. So that's not the question, but the question is, you know, what do you guys, where do you see us all going? Where do you see humanity going? What is your projections? What are your views? Since we're all on here, and you know, who'd like to give a stab at that?
I think some of our timelines that me and you discussed, what was it, last week or so? I think it was, that some of those timelines that I was given have shifted. And I don't know what the individual aspects of those caused that timeline to move up, but I think the financial aspect, like the economy wise, it would. My prediction and my information I got was supposed to happen much further into April than it has.
Very good.
So I think maybe the timeline has shifted to maybe accelerate this period we're going through right now with 5G and the coronavirus vaccine and the economy and the stimulus package and all of that stuff. It's all in one big ball of wax.
Yeah. And Ronnie, you're shaking your head. What do you what's on your mind there?
No, I totally agree with what Sammy was saying. I think, you know, since all of us have been raised differently, we all have different, a little bit views. Maybe we all have different experiences that have shaped us to be who we are today. I think that has a lot to do with, you know, with what humanity is going to bring us. I think, you know, as the years go by, technology affects us. I think, you know, all the resources we have, you know, we're using a lot, we're consuming so much. So I think with that being said, man, it's so hard to predict, because us as humans, like I told you guys, I'm reading that book about human nature. And what this book is saying is our behavior, you know what I mean, is something that we don't know, you know, we don't learn about in school. You don't learn things about introduction to human contact, human behavior, how to read things, how not to take things personally from people, you know, things like that. So from what I've learned, I think that we'll always understand that we have a need for each other. You know, we got languages that I think people that think language is a barrier, beliefs, religion, right? Krista, you're shaking your head. You can agree with that, right?
Yeah.
I'll let you go. You go ahead. What do you think?
Oh no, it's the language is big. Everybody was like, "You're going to Mexico and you don't know Spanish?" And I'm like, "Well,
Right.
I'm going to an island that is tourism, so that was not as much of a barrier." But when I was down there earlier for vacation, someone had mentioned to me, I met somebody down there that was not a local, and he says, "Once you learn the language, the doors open." And I think that that's not just it, but that's everywhere. But what's happening here in the U.S. is we are such a melting pot of so many cultures and languages that it's a barrier no matter what. It's a barrier for everybody. For me, though, something that struck a chord with me recently, and I'm not sure why it's a calling. I want to learn sign language because I feel a need in our metaphysical world that I'm entering. There's a group of people that are left out because they don't have ways to communicate. And my niece is a speech pathologist, and that was one of the first things she learned, and it intrigued me to want to get back into it. And just the other day when I was at the park, somebody was laughing because they were watching me walk past through the field in barefoot, of course, feet covered in mud because it had rained the night before. And he's laughing, and he had the cutest little dog, and we were talking, and I realized he was deaf. And he was signing to me down at the side because he didn't feel comfortable enough to sign to me directly. And I was like, it was like that gentle reminder of something that I put on the back burner. And at the same time, we're talking about the resources. What's happening around the world with Mother Earth has been phenomenal. The videos, everybody's been posting things, what we've been seeing. That's what I'm curious to see what's going to happen when we're released as a world. How quickly are we going to go back to our old ways? How quickly is the mountains going to disappear and the wildlife? Man, that's going to be an adjustment for them when we're all released back in the world in the cars. I mean,
or at least back into the wild.
we're released back into airspace. It's like I live near parks. I live in the city. I'm northeast side of Columbus. I'm not far from Sharon Woods Park, so I have a myriad of wildlife because of being so close to a park. And I've seen animals recently that I've not seen before. And the other day I was coming home from the park, and I mean, I see turkey vultures, I see hawks all the time, owls, whatever. But I saw a bird of prey that I have not seen that size of ever in this area. I was in Virginia last year visiting my brother, and of course they have ospreys and eagles. And I witnessed an osprey, and I'd never seen a bird of prey that large in my life. I saw what I can only assume was an eagle the other day. Its wingspan was bigger than anything I've ever seen. The turkey vultures that I have in my neighborhood, I've never seen anything this large. And I was just like in awe because to me, that's a message. That's a huge message from somewhere. And it's like, we're getting signs, and a lot of us are listening, but others are just like, they don't get it. And it's kind of like, you need to pay attention, man. Mother Earth she's screaming at us. And we got to pay attention. We're getting a chance. As Iggy says, she doesn't play favorites.
Yeah, she doesn't. No,
she doesn't. And we're being given an opportunity now. And I mean, look at India. Look at being able to see the Alps. Look at being able to see things that you could never see before because there's no pollution, because there's no vehicles on the roads.
Yeah.
We're given a chance and an opportunity. I just hope that humanity grasps at it and runs with it instead of going backwards.
Right.
Yeah, for me, that's important.
So, Kate, you're shaking your head over there. You're shaking your head. You're agreeing with her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think that what's happening with nature is phenomenal right now. Even in where I'm at, like I can hear the birds. And there are so many of them all of a sudden. And when I've been to the park, I live close to Griggs Reservoir, so I go there frequently. And even when I've been there, the number of vultures, the number of hawks, just the number of herons, quite frankly, that I've seen, and egrets. And I know that it's spring, so part of it is it's spring, but I don't know, like the animal energy feels really strong to me right now. A good friend of mine saw a fox the other day, in her neighborhood, just
Yeah.
running across the
Wow.
street.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's really, really something to that. And we are getting a chance to see the world in a different view. And I think the world, like, it's something like the dynamic in the relationship has shifted between humans and the planet right now.
Yeah.
The
Makes
power
sense.
balance has shifted.
And when you say power balance has shifted, what do you mean by that? Explain to me a little bit what you're feeling about that, because I'm curious about that. That's a pretty powerful statement.
Yeah, I think, you know, and this is just my perspective, and you guys can challenge me on it. You know, I think often we, like humans in general, we see ourselves as separate from the ecosystem. We see ourselves as separate from the rest of the planet, from the trees, from the animals. And we somehow think that we're special in that regard, and that the planet and everything here is really meant to serve us, and that we're quite separate from that ecosystem. Which I don't think at all is true.
No.
And I think through this experience, that balance has shifted a bit, because we're kind of forced into a different space right now because of what's happening in the world. And I don't know, maybe it'll change some of our perspective, and maybe it will balance out that dynamic a bit more, and we'll understand a bit more about our relationship with the planet, and that it really is a two-way relationship. I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
To me. So Hayden, you're a little quiet down there. So you have anything you want to add to this?
I don't think I do right now. No, I'm just listening to everybody's stories.
Yeah.
I think everybody's sharing really good stuff. I
Mhm.
think it's interesting to see how other people are like processing the this experience, because it is kind of unique in a lot of ways, and it's happening to everybody at once. Like, it's not uncommon for people to have like weird events happen to them, like where they lose their job and then they have like a stagnant period, or they have to figure out what's going on. But it's different now because like everybody's in it at once. So it's kind of like we're all processing it all together. And so that's why it's kind of cool to have something like this where we can all meet up and talk, because it helps us to know that we're not alone. And like, some people have jobs, some people don't have jobs. And so it's like this mix, but it's still impacting everybody because everybody's involved with the whole thing. So it's kind of nice to get those different perspectives and get a sense of how people are processing it, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. And you know, Kate, everybody who's mentioned, Mother Earth is playing a big role in herself recalibrating and healing wounds that we've put in her. The other day I heard the news. They were saying they had pumped so much oil they don't even know what they can't even pump anymore because they're so full. I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, that's great. Here we go. Have we learned anything? You know, I'm thinking we have ships out in the ocean full of oil barrels, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys.
Here we
thinking,
go. Yeah.
You know, we just don't get it sometimes, but regardless, eventually that will break. Things have to break in pieces. You know, we can't just. It could either break completely off really fast, and then that's bad for a lot of people, you know? Or it can break off into little sections, and then these little sections break off, and then we recover within those little pieces, and we try to mend them together. Kind of like what we're doing right now. Right now, we're all forced to be in this situation together, like Hayden said. You know, we're all forced to reevaluate life, reevaluate ourselves and our components and how we fit in the world. So if you thought you were not an important piece of the cog, well, you are a very important piece to it. Every person here, every person on this show, everybody listening, every human being is valuable. We have discounted people for so long, and we've abused people, and people have been abused by other people, that that catches up with you, you know? Catches up with you right now. You know, this would be a time of healing and understanding, but it's also going to be a time of frustration and confusion too, because we're forced into situations where we're not comfortable being sometimes. It's not comfortable sometimes to look at ourselves and go, oh my God, this is what I'm like. I'm projecting onto other people, and I'm teaching other people how to treat me, you know? And so we're going through all these phases right now of understanding ourselves. Half the time we teach people how to treat us. And you know, and the biggest thing is sometimes we don't see that, but the thing is, if we're aware of it, then we have an advantage, but the person who's not aware of it has a disadvantage because they don't understand. And see, this is where I'm trying to get at. Right now, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be very, when they give the all clear, when they give the big green light, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have a lot of issues up here because they're going to have a lot of issues up here because they don't know what to do with this new information, this energy, this understanding of what's happened, what's going on.
Yeah.
I talked about it way in the beginning, and a lot of people were kind of like, hey, don't pull that in it. No, but it's true. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to have PTSD about this. They're going to have some serious issues over it. They're not calibrated. And it's not because they don't want to be. It's because they've never had the tools to do it. They've never been shown. And there's a lot of people right now reaching out to people like ourselves to help them become calibrated, to help them understand what's happening. It's our job to be patient and understand, to go, hey, I get that you're not where you need to be. I will do my best to find somebody can help you, or I will try to help you find that path. And so I think right now what we have to be prepared for is the after effects of all this, the blowback, because it's coming. It's going to come.
Oh, big time. It's going to be a big wave.
Yeah.
Well, that's my whole goal in doing my website and doing this internal work, is not just to do an energy session or a healing session for somebody, but it's to teach them how to do that for themselves.
Yeah.
Because if we teach people that aren't used to that how to do that, then they learn that for themselves. Then they teach somebody else who don't know, and it goes out a ripple effect, and it has a reverse effect of what's going on now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can relate with you, Sammy, because I'm kind of working on a project. I have a YouTube channel that I work on. And up to this point, my YouTube channel has kind of been something that I just kind of turn on and talk about stuff, and then I end my video, but it doesn't have any structure. It just kind of has a topic, and I just share. But I really feel called to make quality videos and really have invest time into it. So really put a week's worth of work into it, or 2 weeks worth of work, to make sure that I'm giving people the information they need to really grasp the content and be able to move forward with that content and actually use it in their life. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm starting with basically, are we just a physical body? That's the title right now, but it could change. So basically, I want to break it down for people and give people an understanding that we're not just our experience that we have. There's so much more, and there's a lot of tools that we can use to move forward and to help us understand these difficult experiences and heal from them. Because a lot of times we get stuck in states of consciousness or states of being that repeat the same problem over and over again. And if we're able to realize that we don't need to stay in that same place, and realize that there's more to life than just the way you perceive it right now, then you're able to move out of that, possibly with help or on your own. It depends who the person is. And then you're able to heal and transform that trauma or that pain or whatever problem that keeps coming up. And so if I can give people a glimpse or invite them into a space where they can question their reality and question their thoughts and beliefs and systems that hold them locked into place, then it might help them to move forward and heal from this. Because it's going to be a difficult time, like Iggy was saying, people are going to be stuck, and there's going to be a lot of people who have learned a lot of lessons over this silence period. They're going to go back to their life, and they're going to want to move. They're not going to want to sit in the same place they came back. They're like, this doesn't fit me anymore. Why the hell was I here? Their state has changed. They've gained new perspective. They've moved out of a different state of consciousness. So it's going to be messy, I think. And I'm hoping that some of this content will help people find truth and find something that they can move forward with and not get stuck, like you were saying, Sammy, to give them that assistance. Yeah.
I'm kind of doing that with an individual right now, kind of showing him how to find the issues or the things he needs to work on internally, and trying how to balance his energy and all of that stuff to go inside and find those problems or those issues or whatever it is, and just to give that area that needs that work, just give that some unconditional love. And once you find that, there's a lesson in there of how that person was treated or experiences or something, to take a positive aspect out of that. And those experiences are what we use in the next evolution of our life to help the people that are in those situations at their point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like that's what my practice is geared for, is to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Evolution. That's a big word, man.
Yeah.
That's like
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very powerful.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
When we think about to evolve,
Yeah.
and to think that we haven't evolved per se, that's kind of powerful. I mean, because when I heard
It
you
is.
say that, Sammy, I'm going, man, evolve. What do I evolve to? That's what a lot of people are probably going.
Yeah.
There's probably feeling some kind of emotions and all kinds of feelings and stuff and connections and disconnections all at the same time.
It's just a different frequency they're not accustomed to,
yeah,
and they don't know how to tune in.
mm-hmm.
So I'm fortunate to be able to see all the different frequencies and energies and sacred and all the sacred geometry and all of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I'm fortunate to hold that kind of energy to assist people in that transformation.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you bring up there, Sammy, that, frequency, radio station, waves, because, it's like a radio. It's like a dialing into the tone, you have a myriad of channels that you can go to.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get to 99.9 and you're stuck on 97.7 and you're getting all the information on that one, but you haven't moved the dial. And I think right now, if we move the dial just one notch to the right or the left, is going to make a huge difference in how we move through all this. And I think what's happened is people have moved the dial and they're stuck in the static mode and a little bit of the static. It's like, they're like, oh, what is this? Oh my God. And so they're going through this, this feeling. And then finally they hit this, boom, they find the channel and they go, oh my God.
Yeah.
I feel that. I resonate with that. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Somebody needs to explain to me what I'm listening to. And, and then you don't leave that channel because the other channel no longer serves you. It's like, it doesn't have the validity that
and each one of us in the holistic community is a different channel.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So they have a certain radio frequency that they're tuned into for that specific chapter in their life, and they're looking for that radio station.
God, poor people, man. They're tuned into me.
Yeah, I want to change this channel. How do I change this channel?
How do I get out of Iggy channel?
How did we all become so attracted to Iggy's show?
What's that?
We got to keep the Iggy channel, man. We can't do away with that.
Oh,
No.
It's just funny. I like to bring humor to people's lives as much as I
You
can.
have to.
I'm just, it's kind of, that's the Peruvian in me. Peruvians are very comical people. They love to joke. They're pranksters. They like to throw food fights and all kinds of amazing things. Ronnie probably knows me pretty well, over the years. I ask those tough questions and then I ask those really weird questions.
Part of being Latino, man.
Part of being Latino, he said.
Part of being Latino, hey,
I don't have a stitch of Latino in me, dude, and I have got humor
yeah.
Iggy, you mentioned that food fight earlier, your grandma and the food, and you brought back some major memories for me.
Tell me about that story.
Oh my God. I was 18 working for the Frisch's restaurant, East Main Street, Whitehall, across from the old drive-in theater. And I'm the instigator. I always have been. I get it from my grandfather. He's one of the most sarcastic, ornery men I ever knew. Mm-hmm. And that's also where I get my love of nature. But I would just start. I was known for dumping ice down someone's back. I was known for tossing food, just walking through. And this one night, it just exploded. It was probably a full moon night for all I knew. And the next thing I know, my manager, all of those cooks, the servers, we were just tossing food everywhere. And at one point, they cornered me in the walk-in fridge and they turned the light off on me. And they thought, ha, 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 we'll get her. Well, I knew it by heart. So when they opened the door, I had 2 whole cream pies in my hand. And my manager and my cook were looking at me and they were like, oh, shit. they slammed the door. I mean, we chased each other into the restrooms, into the basement. We had food everywhere. This was back when they would put displays out of food for you to look at to decide if you wanted to eat. So that stuff got thrown away at the end of every day. We had food everywhere. We were cleaning for days. But the hysterical part of the whole thing was one of my friends, one of my dear childhood friends was working with me that summer. She was down in the basement counting her tips through the entire thing. She came upstairs and we've got food dripping from our hairs. I mean, there's just food everywhere. And she's like looking around going, what just happened? And we're just like, grab a mop, grab a broom, help us clean up.
She's like, no.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, I am the known instigator, sarcastic one. My grandfather he would steal food off your plate. We'd be sitting around at the dinner table, and if you didn't watch, your dessert would disappear forkful at a time, right out from underneath your nose.
Are you sure you're not Peruvian?
Half German and half, I call my mom the Heinz 57.
Well, we are German, so maybe it's the German side then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My grandfather's humor, I can't live without humor. That's a big part of my life. That's how I get through all of this. You were talking earlier about where you guys are. You're so far ahead of me in that metaphysical world. I'm, thank God, every day that
Ronnie's ahead of us all.
Yeah, Ronnie's ahead of all of us. I'm just thankful that I'm where I am now, because if I was not physically speaking, I'd be screwed, man. I mean, I'd be a mess right now. You guys would be picking me up off the streets. I can't imagine where I'd be right now. So, I'm in a good place, but for me it is, where do I go next? You guys are where I want to be. So, I've got a calling, and I'll answer it, man. And I'll work and I'll struggle to get wherever I got to be.
You are already here. So you're,
It's funny you should say that, because just this week, I've joined a couple of, there's a group out there called Go Out and Howl at 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
Overnight, they just grew to 400,000 people. I mean, it was amazing. And I was a part of it for a while, and people, just off the wall people, were reaching out to me, and they were people in bad places. There was a gentleman up in Michigan who's a recovering addict who is from California, can't get back there. He's stuck in the middle of no man's land by himself.
Wow.
And he's like struggling. And there's a gentleman in Lorain, Ohio that reached out to me that is lonely. He's, his wife's gone. He's got a beautiful daughter. But there's been people reaching out to me, and they're like, I'm like, where are you coming from? How are you even finding me? Yeah. And I'm like, and I feel this urge and this compulsion to have to do what I can. I can't do much. I'm not trained enough to be able to do, distance healing, even though I do have my Reiki too, and I could try, but it's that they're like, your posts, what you say just makes us want to be closer to you. And the spirit world has done the same thing to me. And it's just like, I'd be lost without all of it. I'd be so alone and in so much silence. I'd be nuts by now. So I'm grateful for everything that's going on. I'm one of the few people that can actually say that. I am very grateful for everything that we're going through right now. And it's going to suck for a lot of people, but I'm going to be there for those that need it. I'm going to be there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ronnie? Hearing all this stuff. Since
I love it.
Honestly, I keep hearing a race car somewhere, but
no, I love hearing Krista's response. Sammy too. You guys are really, really good. I like to hear why you guys are passionate about what you guys believe in, and I'm up for that as well. All of you, Kate, Hayden, Iggy, you're the exception.
I'm the what?
I'm just kidding.
He said you're the exception.
I'm just messing with you. No.
That's funny.
He's breaking up. He's frozen.
Am I frozen?
Just messing.
His frequency is too high for it. Your frequency. The Iggy frequency.
Shifting right out.
Yeah. So I post like random stuff sometimes because that's just my personality. I like to make polls, and I like to ask questions, and I like to ask the questions that people are afraid to ask because they don't want to get beat up by Facebook land or whatever. I could care less. Okay, if you hate me, you friend me, it doesn't matter. That's the point. You get to this point. You really get to this point.
It's because it's their issue, not yours.
Yeah, it's their shit.
It's their issue, not yours. It was so hard for me to learn because it was like people were like, it doesn't matter what someone thinks of you. You don't have to make your choices, your decisions based on what other people think of you, and that's a lifetime for me. And it's like that was one of the hardest things I had to learn was it doesn't matter what someone else thinks of me. I mean, it's important. I mean,
sure, you have Kate, a found basis,
you have a base, but
you also can help people that don't want help.
No, you can't. There's no fixing.
Yeah.
And there's people who want help for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
You have to want that help for yourself, not for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm been through that myself personally. But I find it interesting as I look at everyone here today that I'm speaking with. Iggy, Kate, Hayden, I've known you guys, met you guys in the last 9 months. Ronnie, you're new, but even Sammy and I just connected just a couple of days ago through one of our drum circles or town halls or meetings or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, and then to see the people and what I've seen and change, not just myself, but in everyone that I've been involved in, Hayden, I've known you for a while. And I remember when I first met you and you and I were both in not the greatest of places.
Yeah.
And to see the two of us now, it's just, it just makes me so happy. You have no idea.
Yeah, I can tell you're a lot lighter. You were struggling with a lot when we first met.
You and I both were.
Yeah. I was for sure. I know, but you seem a lot better now for sure. You've done a lot of work on yourself, a lot of letting go.
Yes, that's been a big important thing for me. And the hardest part is that it's not just been letting go of myself, but I've had to let people go. Had to let lifelong.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard,
family.
man.
Yeah, even my family, my own family is like, they try. My mother, God love her, she tries to understand and she tries to be there, but then I'll say something and I'll see that look on her face, and I call it the I'm gonna lock you up and throw away the key look. And it's like, I'm like, I get it, you can't handle anymore, and I understand that. And so that's why I'm so thankful, and that's what that post was all about for me, is realizing how important all of my new family is. And Kate, what that means to me. I know you do. Kate and I have a connection. We haven't had an opportunity to really figure it out yet, but it's there. And sister, we're going to work on that one.
Good.
It's a good sister vibe.
It is an awesome sister vibe.
Absolutely.
So we've been talking. So I post things on there, like I was talking earlier. So today, I don't know if you guys saw this, which I thought would get a lot of response. I said, hang in there, everyone. What doesn't kill us will make us stronger and mutate us all into Ninja Turtles.
Which Ninja Turtle are you, Iggy?
Actually, my grandson says I'm Splinter, so I'm not a
I love that answer.
So, but I post things like that because to break the monotony of the same stuff. Because I also posted, like I posted something about the stimulus check, and everybody's like, "Rah!" Yeah, that mutated too. That mutated too. And then I some of the posts that you think would like generate some topic didn't. Like I put 5G versus 5D. There's a correlation there. There's some interesting vibes there. Some interesting. Sammy and I had a little backdoor conversation about that. And he and I know what we're talking about, but we can't share that right now. We can't disclose that right now because it'd blow your mind.
It would. I mean, the little nuances of the energy and all wrapped up in all that. It's just beyond the mind, beyond the human mind, I should say.
Yeah. 5D, you're not ready for it. 5G, you're not ready for it.
Want that?
No, that's my point. That's my point. Slowly, Let's move. If you want to get acceleration, yeah, then go for it. You're gonna be like up against the windshield, but hey, that's okay. No problem.
I'm on an accelerated curve right now, dude. I am not in control of my curve right now.
So Hayden, I got a question for you. Is there any questions in the chat room? Anybody
Let me
asking a
check.
question?
Let me blow that out first.
What are you doing? There's children watching. No,
I'm starting a fire over here.
don't teach them bad things.
That's what 5G does, guys. Watch out.
Little PSA from Hayden.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Sorry, moms and dads. Not my fault. I have no control of this guy down here.
I don't see any questions. I don't see any questions in the chat. I just see
Okay.
people like saying I agree or hey, what's up? Stuff like that. Oh, do you guys know about David Icke, conspiracy theorist?
Yeah, I've heard of David Icke.
I've heard of him. I've never
heard the
watched any of
name.
his stuff, but
I
just
stay
heard the
away
name.
from all that. I can't handle all that right now. It's too much for me.
Enlighten
Icke.
us, Hayden.
Go
What's
ahead.
that?
Enlighten us.
Do you know of David Icke?
I don't know. I'm gonna look him up. I can
Okay.
I can look him up real quick.
Here's the disc of David Icke that I have here in my house. Okay. So I
Does
know
that say Secrets of the Matrix?
Yeah, he just pretty much I'll just put it in a nutshell. Some people will call him a conspiracy theorist.
Mm-hmm.
Some people talk about the things he talks about. For some people, that's a reality, that's real. And I respect and honor it because your reality is different than my reality, and you're gonna believe what you believe, regardless if I tell you not to believe it. Okay.
Right.
So what you take in is up to you. What you believe is up to you. David Icke is a guy, I don't know the whole history, but he has a lot of ideas about stuff and things that he's discovered and he's kind of brought to the forefront for us to see. He's kind of like moved the veil a little bit for us to come and step in and take a look at it. And basically it's up to you to decide if you believe it or not. Okay, so that's the best way for me to explain conspiracy theories to you, is if you hear something, do you believe it or not? Because here, all truths are half truths. Okay, so part of what you're hearing is true, part of it what you're not hearing is not completely true. Okay, so there's half truths.
Yeah.
Because part of you believes it, and another part of you is going, really? The other part's going, wow, that's a really cool idea. That's a really cool movie. If you ever watched how everything's playing out right now, the movie Contagion, for example, if you've seen that movie, you would think that we were living that movie right now. Okay, coincidence? Conspiracy? I don't know. I'm not here to be the judge of that. You'll have to make your own decision on that. Because if I told you, say, hey, you have to believe what I'm saying because that guy is right. And if you don't believe, see, that's no one ever buys into that. No one adheres to that kind of bullying or pushing. But David Icke said, or Iggy said, no, you tell the story, you share it. And if enough people believe it, then they manifest and create it. So right now we're creating in this environment that we're in. We're creating the new awakening, the great awakening, right? Together, because we believe that we're in the purposes of creating something very magical if we put our mind to it. Could have been very easy for us to say, oh, they just want to trap us in our houses. They just want to take our freedoms away. Could we have done that?
Yeah.
Are there people doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But where you want to put your energy, where you want to put your feelings and emotions is going to be really an individual one-on-one situation. Now, I'm not saying that what they're doing maybe is unconstitutional in some regards, but damn it, if you want to stay alive, there's some things you're going to have to put aside for a moment.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's the right way. I'm not saying that that's what we should do. But if you want to live, it's like, say, follow me if you want to live,
Yeah.
If you don't want to live, then, go lick a pole outside, I'm just saying, if
Public,
you,
touch your face.
what I'm saying? Because these are the
Iggy, man.
Best example. I'm gonna be honest. Not your best example.
You know what I mean?
But
Okay, you guys have a dirty mind. You all got dirty minds.
you're the dirty. I didn't think it was
Hey.
a dirty thing.
You're all, you
Give
got
Iggy
dirty
Inca
minds.
Cola.
Yeah, man. Come on, baby, light my fire.
You need an Inca Cola.
All right, no, but what I'm saying is, just do everything that they tell you not to do, and your chances are going to go up that you probably might get sick.
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know.
Yeah.
But all I know is that I have to trust and believe the process, okay? And I have to trust in my guides, my higher self, trust in spirit that something is going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's something going on. I don't know what it is. I can't quite put my finger on it. I want to believe a whole bunch of things, but I can't necessarily believe it all, right? Or can I?
See, I choose not to. I choose to ignore all of it. Conspiracy theories, the news, the reports. I choose to put my energy elsewhere.
Yeah.
I choose to put my energy into myself.
And that's good. That's good for you.
And that's how I am.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely. I agree.
You know, I know others. I follow, I see, you know, but I haven't watched the news in 20 years. That's not new for me. That's how I've been for a long time. But I still see things. You know, I see what you post, and I have others that I see then things. I have a friend in Korea, actually, who I went to high school with. And when he posts something from there, it's like I actually reposted something the other day where they've actually have, for the first day, no deaths or no new cases and a drop numbers, you know, and it's like that hits me because I believe the source that comes from. But a lot of what I see, nah, I can't. I'd spend my entire day in my house in my head going, what if, but yeah, I can't.
Nah, that's no
no.
fun.
I got better things to waste my energy on.
Yeah, that's a waste of energy.
If I'm gonna waste my energy on
Rather
something,
sleep.
that is not it.
Yeah. Quick update on the Ike situation. I think our guest was referring to the 5G and COVID. Basically, he live streamed a YouTube video that the coronavirus pandemic was linked to 5G mobile phone networks.
Yeah, I'm not qualified.
Wow.
I'm not qualified to answer that question.
I'm not either.
I don't
Definitely
think
not.
anybody is.
I'm
But-
not at all.
Yeah.
But I can give
Definitely
you
not
I can give you opinions.
That's a
Left
rabbit
and
hole.
right.
That is a rabbit hole.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's just say if it was. Okay, fine. Now what?
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Okay, the 5G causes the virus. Okay.
Well, first of all, you have to prove that it does something to the virus. You'd have to prove that that's what's actually happening, and that would take a while. Second of all, I don't know. Like,
Well, here's a good example, and I know that Krista will understand what I'm saying. You ever see that Three Stooges where Curly was fighting boxing?
Oh yeah.
And every time they played the horn, he became a better boxer.
Yes.
He started
Yes,
fighting.
yes,
He started beating it.
yes.
And as soon as he stopped playing the horn, he
Yeah.
became normal.
Yeah.
So is that every time we turn on the 5G, the virus becomes active? We turn it on. That's the image I get in my head. I'm not trying to discount it. You know, I'm not saying it is. There's a 5G tower down the street from my house. There's a 5G tower right next to my building on High Street.
Yeah.
And, you know, this was a year and a half ago. I walked up and going, that's a 5G tower. And I don't remember anybody calling me and asking me if they could put it there. It doesn't matter because the city owns, you know, the property line or whatever.
Right.
So they can sell that to, and it's AT&T. It's communications. So communications are, and phone wires and all that stuff, they can put it wherever they want. That I do know because it's a utility. It's a utility. So utilities. So like I told somebody earlier, it's the only thing they really care about. This is my personal opinion. So don't everybody jump and beat my butt about it. Right? All they care about is the bottom line and making money.
Yep.
And keeping their shareholders happy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, if there's information out there about what it does to you, they ain't going to share it with you. And if it is, it's going to be very diluted and it's going to be
it's going to be what they want you to hear.
Yeah. You know, and so that's why people get frustrated. That's why people go on the conspiracy run because they know that things are left out.
Yeah.
It's like mom and dad, when you know something's not right and your mom and dad don't tell you, something.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on? Well, hijito, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. Your mom and I, we got it. Okay. But Dad,
Yeah.
is he bleeding? No, hijito, is not bleeding. He's not bleeding. He's not bleeding.
We sound like our president now.
We have a bandage.
Our Mexican version of our president.
We have a bandage. I would say Peruvian, but hey.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend Ronnie down here with a bad imitation here. But you know, that's the thing. You know, it's like we get information and we don't know where information comes from. Oh my God. And just like everybody in this forum right now, I'm sure you've been bombarded. And I poor Kate, I bombarded her and Hayden with so much stuff. Somebody asked me today, someone asked me today, is there any really news medias that we can trust? So I gave them Russian TV. Give them a different perspective and to see, so they can see how they see the world and how they see us.
It was genuinely interesting.
Oh yeah, go ahead to explain.
It was genuinely interesting. The perspective was so different.
Yeah, in what way?
And in the article that stands out the most to me was the one that was talking about, I think it was rice and wheat.
Okay.
And the potential for famine, or the potential for there being larger global food insecurity. And that's an issue that hits home for me anyway. So that really called out to me. And there were some really interesting articles about dynamics between the United States and China. And the perspective was very, very different. We get, we get a very kind of U.S. centric. Obviously, we're in the United States, right? So we get media that's very centralized around our interests and our needs. And I think what I said back to you, Iggy, is it's interesting, and I think it happens on an individual level, and then on a state level, and even like a national level and a global level. Is we all tell the story from our own perspective, and all things can sort of be true simultaneously, but at the same time, the viewpoint that we have is very narrow, and it's based upon our own experience and the information that we have. And most of us, when we tell our own story, we're going to tell it as if we're the hero, right? Yeah. So when you hear things from the U.S. perspective, it's very frequently that we're the heroes, because we're the heroes of our stories. Even in our own individual stories, if you think about that, often we think of ourselves as the hero, but in somebody else's version of that story, you're likely the villain. Right. And there's a real interesting nuance in that, and you can see it play out on sort of like that global national level when you, from reading the Russian news. I mean, you can see the difference in that perspective. I found it really fascinating. I was glad you shared it.
It's funny because my dad would tell me, he goes, "You want to know what's going on in the United States? Read Russian media." He would tell me that, and I would just laugh because my dad worked for the Slavic Center. He helped bring down the Berlin Wall. He used to work for Woody Hayes. A lot of people, my dad used to work for the government. A lot of people don't know that. So he was one of the people behind the scenes to help bring down that Berlin Wall. My father. Wow. So he would always tell me, he goes, "You want to know about US? What's going on? Watch Russian TV." And my dad would also tell me, we had this conversation too, Kate, is that the Russian people are just like all of us. There's a Russian version of us going, "Vatslish!" You want to know about Russia? Watch American TV. I mean, that's probably how it's playing out. Us normal, everyday human beings, we're going through our day. We're going to shop. We're all in isolation. There's a Russian family in isolation. There's a Russian family on Zoom somewhere doing a broadcast. And they're all sharing their thoughts, their feelings and emotions. And some of them are holistic, some of them are not holistic. We're human beings. We're all in this together. All my relations, we're all suffering. We're all going through this, and the government is going, what do we do? What's going on? Because that's what they look like to me. Sometimes they're like standing there going, well, I don't have any more to say because nothing's really changed. So, I mean, and I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole, honestly, because it takes too much energy. I want to come out the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And
I want to stay out of the rabbit hole.
I want to graze some grass. I want to eat some strawberries. Yeah. Like the rabbit, when he comes into my garden and eats the strawberries, he's like, yeah, some good stuff. Thank you, Iggy. But you know, that's kind of where we're at right now. We're all on this boat together. The love boat. That's a bad analogy right now. But yeah, so David Icke, there you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's an interesting character though. If you want to really go into that space, it's fun though. Don't get me wrong, it's interesting because it makes you. In order to know how other people think, you have to be able to also kind of get a glimpse into their life. Because if you're one-sided about your approach, then you can't appreciate somebody else's mind. Because you're projecting onto them your projections and your beliefs and stuff. So sometimes it's good to listen and then filter out what's not important to you. So especially the people who are new to this kind of work, it's important that you listen and then you release and let go what's not important. You keep the pieces and parts that are.
Yeah, and that's a big lesson that I've learned in the last month and a half. That's what I spent a lot of time doing in Mexico, was actually learning to quiet my mind and learning to listen to my guides and to those around me. And it's made a huge difference in how I see things. But I'm still in a point where I'm like, I can't handle everybody's shit yet.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
That's fair.
I'm getting there, but too much is because I get a lot. You know, for me, this isolation, I think that's at this point in my life, why it's been so good is because I don't have all that contact. Because when I am in a large group or I'm with a lot of people or in any kind of situation, I'm bombarded. Iggy, our sweat lodge in January, somebody brought that up to me recently. And I was like, that day, that experience that I went through, I was bombarded with information because I have connections to people who have losses. And when we're having a sweat lodge to grieve and everyone there is grieving losses recent, you know, yourself, the person next to me a week ago, the person to the left of me a year ago, and all of a sudden everyone's loved ones are talking to me and coming to me and energy. And I'm like, whoa. So for me, this time alone and not having a whole lot of contact and where I am right now, it's actually been the best for me. And I think, you know, it's going to help me in the long run to be able to help those that need it, you know, when my time comes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I get that listening, boy. That was hard for me.
Yeah. Did any of you guys see this coming? Did anybody project forward or have a feeling or a vibe that
I actually channeled a message from Metatron 3 weeks before this happened.
really tell me about it? Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, and it's just it's just something that just happened. Probably two or 3 weeks before that happened. But I channeled Metatron, and the first time I did it, it was all jumbled, mixed together. I said, okay, next time we do this, you're gonna have to slow down, and you're gonna have to make it so I can read it.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the perception that we do physically.
No.
Because they're pure energy. They don't understand that we can't perceive that. So when I told them that the second time, the message was something along the lines is that if we want to regain Earth, that we're gonna have to come together as one race under love. And that's pretty much. I was like. And it was wrote out in cursive, which I don't write in cursive.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now we're really everything that we thought we knew about whatever we thought we knew is really been.
It's out the window.
It's out the window. Yeah. Whatever I don't know, you know, it's going to be funny. It's going to be really interesting when we think we have to go back to our normal days. I don't know if we're going to want to go back. Some of us.
I'm not.
No.
I have no intentions of going back to whatever was normal before all of this. Nope, not at all. I'm moving forward.
Yeah, it's you know, on another show, I think when Hayden was on my show last time, I talked about what it's like to be a shaman, and when they have to go into the seclusion so they can regather themselves. This is kind of like this, except this is like very extreme, though. I mean, this is like for a lot of people, this is extreme, very difficult. Where you have to like really get into your head and really go deep inside your core. And this is a lot of shamanic work. People do a lot of shamanic work, don't even know it. You know, but yeah, that's what we're doing.
But it's necessary. I mean, we talked about that. We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
all the people that are losing their lives and all this stuff that's going on with the severe weather and all,
Mhm.
it's all necessary.
Yeah.
Because we didn't jump one dimension, we jumped 2 dimensions.
I like that. I like that topic because in the multiverses, and all the if you believe in this, okay, so
Yeah.
you have to really use your imagination.
Yeah.
Because imagination is very powerful, and imagination is what creates the world. This is where it comes from. There are multiple versions of ourselves, and some people believe this, some people don't.
Yeah.
I personally believe in this. I believe in this
yeah.
because I've had experiences that have proven to me, just because other people have experienced me outside of me not being there. I've been in, I've had these experiences with people. I've had people come to me and tell me, hey, I had a dream about you and I've never met you before, but I saw you on Facebook, so I had to come and tell you. There's no coincidence here. There's a lot of synchronicity here.
Yeah.
I've been in, a lot of people had dreams that I've died. Okay. That I passed away. And they're like, did you hear about Iggy? Oh my God. And they all have the same similar story. And I'm going, so did I physically die or did I spiritually die? Did I die and came back differently? But regardless, in someone's view of their mind, a part of them is dying. A part of them is, I was their guide. A lot of these people, I've helped them and I've guided them along.
Yeah.
So pieces of their belief systems have to die off a little bit in order for them to move into the next evolution of themselves.
Mhm.
But it's interesting, I don't know if anybody's ever had any kind of messages from people where they said that you changed, you died or whatever, or I've had a lot of crazy dreams. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, I'm not even going there. No, that's a whole other podcast.
Everybody just went, I don't want to go there.
I can have a discussion on that, but that would be a whole different show. But basically, when we fell energetically millions of years ago, we fell to Earth.
Mhm.
We lost our energetic memories,
Yes.
for lack of better terms. Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
So when these shifts from each dimension, we regain part of that memory.
Mhm.
Yes.
So that's why when we have a shift like this one was 2 dimensions, you're gonna have all kinds of people seeing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's all those memories from 2 dimensions and all the other past lives below that
Mhm.
coming back.
Yeah.
So like a dream, like
Mhm.
I had a dream one time. I posted a dream that I was looking at a person's brain and it was a Rubik's cube and I was trying to figure it out.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, and that to me is not a dream. That's a memory that
Mhm.
that my energy, my
Mhm.
energetic self used to do eons ago.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting you bring that up because even though everybody's going through the process, I even had the conversation with Kate. Kate, you remember this conversation where I was talking about that there's like some demonic forces and stuff playing out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And there's like a battle right now between
Yeah.
good and evil.
yeah.
And I tell you, man,
These are the conversations we have.
this is some true stuff, man.
Iggy, you and I got to talk. Oh boy, do we got to talk.
Spirit has been telling me a lot of crazy stuff, and and I'm listening, and I have to decipher and break it down because it's been really interesting. Demons can be ourselves. Demons can be actual things. It could be however you want to look at it. And Hayden knows me pretty well. I'm pretty skeptical about things. I challenge things. Even in the holistic community, in the metaphysical community, I'm the first person to go, really? Prove it to me. Because that's just my mind. That's just how I am. I think we should be that way. But when these messages come to you in meditation, in dreams,
Yes.
they're messages, and someone,
you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
so
You have to pay attention.
got to pay attention.
You do.
All right.
Oh boy,
A lot of messages right now.
man, you are opening some can of worms tonight, Iggy. Let me tell you.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm here to please, man.
Woo.
I think we already have a whole other podcast.
Don't even let me get into aliens, okay?
Oh, please. Can we
Aliens.
do that one?
Yeah, we don't want to get into aliens either.
No, man. They want to control everything.
Yeah. The
No.
Martians and all that stuff.
They've lost
We don't
control.
wanna-
They lost control.
Yeah.
Everything that they thought they had under control, they don't go.
Oh,
what
yeah.
do we do now? I don't know.
That's what's part of what's going on right now. So
What do we do
that's
now?
a debt.
What
That's
do
a
we do
different.
now?
You know, it's funny because Hayden, that's where I first met you.
At the Reiki Center meeting.
Yep. That
Starseed
first
or
night.
whatever.
Yep. Yeah, we talked. I believe our topic was UFOs that night.
Yeah.
Boy, do I have, oh man, the stories I could tell now. I always,
Oh.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if anybody's interested in this book, the books I've been reading about the ancient secrets of the flower of life, it opens up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll repost it on Facebook, but it opens up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, I've already got a lot of open doors, open communication. So for me, I just go right to a source if I want an answer.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting about it is you can't share with everybody.
No.
You
No.
can't.
No.
You know, a friend of mine, when I first went through this back in June, she says to me, be careful who you share with,
Mm-hmm.
because not everybody is going to understand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that is so true. Because even people that there's, you know, Hayden knows Joseph. I know several of you know Joseph. Joseph's been my mentor, my guide, my friend through so much of this.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows a lot more than anybody. He's received countless emails from me, morning, noon, and night.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still things that I can't share. There's things that I've been through that I have to keep to myself because most people can't handle it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things, what I'm going through this week, I've been told, look, your power has increased. You're stepping into it and you can handle it. Don't be afraid of it. You can handle it. But I think that's what we're going through is this shifts and what everybody's feeling, they can't handle it.
Yeah.
We can because we know what's going on. We understand it. We've been through it. You know, no matter how long we've been around, awakenings, whatever, we've been through the shifts. We can handle what's going on. What's happening to the average person, the shifts, what they're feeling, they don't know how to handle it. And I think in some instances they can't.
Yeah. I feel bad for the mail carrier that comes to my house.
Yeah.
Stop. No, but you're right. You're absolutely right, though. They can't handle it. I think that's what's right now. A lot of I don't want to call people average because no one's average in my book. No one's really average. But I think the person who's not connected in the way that you're that they're having
they don't vibrate at the frequency that we vibrate here.
Well, they're tuning there. They're getting there.
Yeah. But I think for some it's been such a leap, such a like you said, changing that knob, turning that dial. It's been so dramatic for them that it's more than they can actually handle.
Well, I'll give you a good example. And maybe you guys will agree with me, won't agree with me. Okay, the new movie, The Force Awakening. So what happened in that movie? And I love movie analogies. My other friends think I'm crazy when I bring in movie analogies. But
not me. You're good.
But check this out. If you think about it, the old way of training a Jedi or a Sith was you had to go through all these different stages and different types of, trainings. But you don't discount it, okay? Because you still do it because there's a beneficial part of that. But as you awaken, as you go in the darkness, we're in the darkness right now. Okay, we're in the darkness, and the Empire's been the darkness, right? And so everybody's been displaced. Everybody's in their places, and they're hiding, and they're doing their thing. So while they're in there are people who are evolving very quickly. And I think Hayden and I had this conversation one time, where Rey, all of a sudden she was in her powers like immediately, and like she was already feeling, she was already communicating, and so was Kylo Ren. Ben was like right in, and so these people have obtained something that other characters in the Star Wars movies had to work very hard and very diligently to get and to obtain. But they were like raw. They were like it was like harnessing pure energy. They still needed guidance. So they could move a rock before Skywalker could move a rock, you know. So I think what happens is it's like a millennial. I called it millennial Jediing, you know. Like, I'm a Jedi now, damn it! I can't wait. You know, watch me move this rock, and I'm like, well, watch me move this spaceship, okay? You know, oh, how'd you do that? Well, you know, you missed that part, right? But see, that's what I'm saying. Right now, I think what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to come into their power. They're going to be like, they're going to be walking around like this. I don't know. What's wrong with you? I don't know. I just been like this for a week. Figure it out. But I feel really good, though. I feel great. And everyone's like, you don't look great, man. You don't look great at all. You look like you got a really bad tick. No, but I think people are really going to come into their into this awakening power and this force, this download. Sammy likes to use the word downloads. People are getting some downloads, and they're gathering information. And in order to get downloads, sometimes we have to push outload the stuff that doesn't serve us anymore. So I think that's kind of where
big
we're
time.
Right
yeah,
Big time.
it's interesting that you mentioned that, Iggy, like the Force Awakens, how like the new generation of the Force Awakens, they just kind of like know how to do everything, and it's a different system of learning. Yeah. Because Julia North, I keep going back to Julia North because she channeled some stuff where she was talking about some of this stuff from her guides. And she was talking about the shift happening, and she was saying how the shift that's happening that started it started a while ago, but like it started in like 93, she said, where people started being born with like 8 chakra system instead of a 7 chakra system. And she said the old system is a rule-based system. So like there's certain things like you follow a certain path and then you obtain a certain outcome. Whereas now we're moving into a system of resonance. So you just like, you are who you are, and you have to like follow your path of resonance. So like the older people don't have that 8th chakra. They do, but it's like outside their body and they have to like pull it in. Whereas like starting in 93, so I'm a 93 baby. So I was one of the first people to come in with like an 8 chakra system, according to her. But the new generation is able to basically resonate. And that's like why you see the change. Like the millennials, like people are like, what's wrong with the millennials? They're like so different than us. It's because we are.
Yeah.
You know, like we operate on resonance, but we're being told like you need to follow these rules and structures in order to succeed. But we're like, no, you don't. Like, you guys are crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? Obviously, this is a broken system. We need to change. Now.
Well, I have 10 chakras. I don't know about you, but I was born in 66. Okay. No, but you're right, Hayden. I do agree with you. I think this generation, I don't even want to call them millennials. It's just your generation.
Right.
You know, it just falls into this category where their enlightenment is different than the enlightenment. It has to be, because humanity has to evolve.
Yeah.
Without evolution, we don't succeed. We don't survive.
Yeah.
You have to be able to adapt quicker and faster. The question is, we don't know why we have to adapt quicker and faster. The illusion is that, you know, everything's the same, but it's not. It's been proven now. It's been proven now that things are not. The old systems don't necessarily, you don't want to debunk them because they have some kind of purpose. But the cool thing about it is now it won't take so long to get somebody to a place they need to be.
Yes.
You know, like when I was being trained to be a shaman, it was a long process. And I had to go through a lot of trials. And damn it, I was a millennial before millennials were even millennials. You're not laughing. Come on. No, but you know, I've kind of like have that juvenile part of me that, you know, is very curious, because I was born twice.
Yeah.
When I was born and put back in my mom.
Yeah.
That's going to screw somebody up.
Yep.
You know, you go back into the darkness, back into the womb, and you're like, oh my God, I just saw the light. Why do I want to go back in? You know?
Yeah.
So you have a very valid, very, very, very true point. And Julie does have a good point. The chakra systems in shamanic practice, there is another chakra outside of the 7 chakras in shamanic. It's an ancestral, we call it ancestral chakra. Okay. It sits out here.
Yeah.
Okay. There are other Reiki practitioners that believe there are multiple chakras that extend, I mean, countless. Chakras are only numbers given in people who, you know, need a foundation to kind of guide them, to get them, which you talked about, Hayden.
Yeah.
There are multiple colors.
Yeah.
There's multiple levels. There's multiple levels. So
I can attest to that.
Yeah, don't limit yourself to just 8, because I have
Yeah.
10. I have 10 right now.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So-
I passed you up, Iggy.
And she mentioned the chakra above the head, but she was mentioning that there's an extra one that's forming like right at
Here.
the heart center.
Really? Okay.
It
Yeah,
is
so
right
it's
here.
like it's kind of like a new system.
Is that like the
Yeah.
Vulcan one where the heart's on the other side?
No, that's the one that's back here.
Yeah, that's the one that's back here.
There's even one here at
Yeah,
the base of your skull on
that
the
one.
back. That's also there's
Yeah.
2.
Oh,
Yeah, I've released them both.
we're evolving and we don't even know it. Okay.
Yep.
We're
That's my
changing.
favorite.
We're changing spiritually and physically, and we don't even know it. You know, I mean, just me personally, I can see the drive to want to be in shape. I challenged Ronnie to this challenge, right, Ronnie? I challenged you to the challenge, right? And
Mhm.
he's younger than me. He should be fit. He should be able to keep up with me. He hasn't been able to keep up with me.
This is true. This is true.
not because he doesn't want to. I'm just fixated in working on things, and he's doing his life, and we just happen to be friends, and we're doing what we do. Beat him or not beat him doesn't matter. That's not important. The thing is that we're connected, we're communicating, we created this friendship, and that's the evolution. I could be his dad. He's friends with my son.
Mhm.
But I think I talk to him more than I talk to my son.
So
That's what it is.
So why do you think that a lot of people struggle to have like what we're doing right now, in y'all's opinion, all of you?
Okay. I've talked a lot, so everybody else can share.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I think a lot of people
struggle.
I think a lot of people are focused on outside stimulant, or if that's how you want to describe it. But I think a lot of people are focused on things around them instead of what's going on inside them.
Well, it's easier. Sometimes facing what's inside of you is really difficult and it can be painful, and there are a lot of things you have to confront in that space that may feel incredibly uncomfortable, and sometimes it's just more comfortable, I think.
Sometimes it's easier to blame somebody than to own it.
Yeah, and I don't know, just more comfortable. I think that there's a real discomfort with inner work for a lot of folks, and sometimes people just don't have the tools.
Yeah.
Or the support to go through that, and not everybody can go through that on their own. Sometimes people need support and they don't know how to ask those questions or who to ask them to, or those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And that's why we're all here.
That's right.
That's right.
That's why we're all here. That's what drew me into this world was my awakening, my release was a lifelong. I had my first vision when I was 3 years old. I just never knew it. And at the age of 53, 50 years later, to find out that I've been on a journey, I've been on a path my whole life that a 3-year-old child chose was unbelievable. But for me, I think what I see with Ronnie and what I see with Iggy is a generation, and I see it with Iggy, and I see it with Kate and with Hayden, and me being the same age as Iggy. I am now gravitating towards the younger generation. I mean, I appreciate people of my own age group, but I'm finding the more alive I become, the more light that shines through me and from me, and I gravitate towards that younger generation. I want their energy. I want to be and hang and get to know, because you guys see things so differently than how I did.
I agree.
And that's what I want. I feel a drive to want to see through other people. I feel a drive to want to walk in your shoes, feel what you feel, because how Iggy and I were raised, even though Peruvian and my stubborn German, it's different. The generations, I have a goddaughter that's 21, and I was fortunate enough to raise her for the first 5 years of her life, and to watch her and to be a big part of her life at that young of an age really hit, because I don't have my own kids and I won't. And I gravitate towards that because I want to live that. I want to feel what you guys feel. I can't live your life. I can't be that young again. And I certainly wouldn't want to be. I would not want to be in my 20s again. Once was enough.
Hey, we wear the same colors too.
Yes, we are. We're very
We
close.
didn't get the memo.
Twins moment.
Yeah, well, yeah, my wardrobe is really old and not fit right now, guys. I hate to go out of the house. I'm 100 pounds lighter and I haven't bought any new clothes. So I kind of like this isolation. I don't have to, I go to the grocery store and nobody looks at me like I'm weird because my clothes are like 10 times too big for me. But yeah, it's I see a change. My goddaughter really shows me a lot. She's going to be a senior at Ohio State, and her actual goal in life is to run this country.
Nice.
And people look at me like I'm nuts. I'm like, oh, you guys have no idea. This has been her goals since she was 7, 8, 9 years old. And when she got to Ohio State, and she was raised in small town, Monroe, Ohio, small. I mean, at one school for the whole city. And when she got to Ohio State as a sophomore, was elected to the Ohio State Student Democratic Society as a sophomore. And it's like, man, you guys aren't gonna be able to touch her when she gets there. I can't wait to see the changes that she brings, but also what her generation brings, what your generation brings. It's, as the older generation, my parents, I don't like to see people go, and I don't wish people to be gone. But as that older generation goes and the younger generation starts to come into the power, because, you're limited by the laws. You can't run the country until you're 35. You can't even think about it. But man, to see the changes and see the things that the differences in human lives that they're trying to make, that's what drives me. That's what makes me want to be a better person. That's what makes me want to be with younger people and feel that energy and be a part of that. Because my generation, we didn't have that. I called my generation the lazy generation. We were like, okay, we're here. When I was in my 20s, my school, my group, we didn't do nothing. We didn't care about what was going on in the world. We didn't care about anything. We cared about smoking our pot, smoking our cigarettes, drinking our beer, because that was big back then for us, was because they were changing the ages big time. I lived through all that. I said, that's what was important to us, getting our cars and driving and doing it. We didn't think about the kinds of things that this generation thinks about.
It was like potty, yeah.
Hey, that's
pick up the trash. Someone else will do that for us. No.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's I love seeing. I have 2 nieces that are 25, and I got 2 nieces just got their masters in the last 2 years, and I can't wait to see the changes and what they bring to this world. That's what drives me. That's what makes me want to be here.
Awesome.
Awesome.
It is. It's an awesome energy that you guys share. That's why I'm so glad that I've become a part of this metaphysical world, as you call it, and being able to be with that generation of people, because you guys have so much to share. I've learned so much from all of you.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. So before we close here, I did post something the other day. I said, one day we will be the ancestors. Until then, live your lives.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty significant, but that came in a meditation. Like, I've said things like that in the past, but that one like really hit me. Like, we're not going to be here forever. And so we need to enjoy life as it is. So, it's kind of like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we're going to go around really quick. Just leave something with everybody, and just something you want to share real fast, and what's on your heart. So that way we can move on and go back to our quarantine and isolations.
And we're going to do this again. This was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Get more people next time, but this was fantastic.
Well, you'll have the video now. So, Kate, why don't you start us off?
Well, first of all, this was really super fun, and it was really great to connect with everybody tonight. I think that what's on my heart the most, and I go back to the conversation we were having earlier about things that are emerging in this space, and what comes to me also is I think there's a real deep space of compassion that's emerging right now. And there's a real space of love. And I think that we're learning how to care for each other and love each other in different ways because we are quarantined and because of the scenario that we're in. But there are also acts of just extraordinary kindness and compassion that are happening right now. People who are reaching out to their neighbors, people who are caring about their community, people who are meeting people for the first time that they maybe didn't know before, but it's the neighbor that lives down the street who maybe you've waved to, and that's it. But that they're older and maybe they're having a hard time getting out, so you're getting them their groceries, or just simple things like that. But I'm a real big believer that change happens not in big dramatic ways always, but often in really little simple things. And it's the culmination of really little simple things that can really create a movement or can create real powerful things in our world. So that's what is really resonating with me right now, is just that space of compassion and growing it.
Very good. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah.
How are we going to follow that, Kate?
You're next, real quick.
On the Brady Bunch tiles.
We all look down.
I know, right? Look over to the side.
I'll tell you, I do feel strongly with what Kate just said, and it's the compassion and what I see from everyone, my neighbors. I live in a ghetto neighborhood. I live in a neighborhood that's surrounded by gangs, it's surrounded by violence, and I live in this tiny little world that it's closing in on us.
Mm-hmm.
And I live across the street from a very small park. And it's been hard because the kids can't play on the swings and the kids can't enjoy the park the way they did. But what I see now is I see parents with their kids without their cell phones. I see parents with their kids on their bikes, riding the paths, with their dogs, flying kites, doing whatever, but the cell phones aren't there. That is something I've noticed, is this isolation has changed us in some ways. Granted, we depend on Netflix because we have to have something to watch. We have to have something to occupy our time. But what I'm seeing in my little neighborhood, and I have a very ethnic neighborhood, people are on their bikes. I take my dog for a walk. A gentleman I have no idea, I've never met, never seen him before, rides past me and says, "How you doing?" "Doing good. Keep up the good work." "You too." It's like, the way we talk to each other and the way we see things now, it's different. I hope we can keep that. That's what I hope. I don't want to see us go back. I want to see us take this and move forward with it. Like, grab that ball and run. It's what we need. We need to keep moving forward, not go back to what it was.
All right. Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Sammy?
Well, one of the first things that come to mind is we need to reconnect to things that bring us happiness, reconnect with our family, reconnect with nature, something that brings you absolute unconditional joy and love. We need to reconnect back to that.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, Sammy.
That's beautiful.
And Ronnie?
I would say definitely two things. First thing I want to leave you guys with is, don't ever, I would say, just in the audience listening to, because I shared this with like my Facebook page too. So I definitely want to leave everyone with, I know we're not perfect. I know we all have not, made a lot of decisions we're not proud of. I know we've made a lot of good things. We're imperfect, we're human, and that's why we're here. We came to this platform so we can build each other up as well as seek happiness for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I would say, I just want to leave you guys with, if you ever want to start something, if you guys ever want to believe in something, don't ever let your past troubles haunt you. Don't ever let the past haunt you. Today is a new day. Every day we wake up, tomorrow's not promised. You know what I mean? I think about those things a lot. Yep. And also, we're all connected more than what we think, just because we all have beef with each other, because we all argue. Sometimes we may not get along. It's nothing personal. Sometimes it's a trigger, probably from something in the past that maybe haunts us, traumatized us. But at the end of the day, we all need each other, I think, and we wouldn't make it in life unless we have each other. Hence the social thing. Look how we're all here, we're all talking to each other,
Yeah.
And I just think that's really important to remember, in my opinion.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hayden?
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank all you guys. I think it was a really cool conversation to have with everybody. Nice to hear different perspectives and different takes on how they're dealing with stuff and what's to come and stuff like that. I want to pull a card for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do it.
Yeah, just one card.
I missed that the other day.
One each, or
one flew out immediately.
Total?
So
Oh, gotta pick that one.
Hayden's the man.
Oh, thanks. All right. So this is the card.
Nice.
So this deck, I read the descriptions because the descriptions are super long. But I'll go ahead and pull it out. It's the blessing from the son of Hanapacha. So let me get my book here.
Oh, Hanapacha.
Hanapacha, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Peruvian?
Yeah, that's Peruvian.
Nice.
Awesome.
This is dope.
All right, let's see. So, Condor swiftly brings the will of Great Spirit to Earth through the gift of powerful medicine. Despite great odds, even in the face of what may appear to be an inevitable defeat, an extraordinary triumph is at hand. This is the prophecy of resurrection, of the rising up of what was thought to be lost. It shall happen with unexpected and surprising swiftness. Your divine destiny is now held in the guiding hand of great spiritual master.
Nice.
Wow,
Nice.
Hayden.
Some,
Beautiful. That
Nice.
brought tears to my eyes. That's beautiful. Thank you for
Mm.
doing that. Thanks
You're
for sharing
welcome.
that.
That was
My
awesome.
pleasure. My
Sweet.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you
Well,
guys.
yeah, thank you. I want to thank you all for tuning in and being here and doing. We have to do this again. This was actually fun.
This is
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get more people
It was
involved and it'll be fun. So, and I wanted to do this. Imagine there's no heaven easy for you to try. No hell below us, above us only sky.
Imagine
All the
the
people living
Living
for
for
today.
today.
Imagine there's
are
no
the
countries. It isn't hard to do.
To
Nothing to kill or die
Okay.
for. No religion to.
do.
Imagine
And
all the
people
people living life in peace.
Peace. Ooh.
You may say I'm a dreamer,
Dreamer.
but I'm
But
not
I'm
the
not
only
the
one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one.
Woo.
Beautiful.
All right.
Little sing along.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was the worst karaoke. No, really. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank
thanks
you.
for coming. Thanks for being here.
Uh-huh.
Those of you guys who were on the live stream on Facebook, thanks for being there and asking questions. And also next time, join us on the Zoom.
Please.
Yes,
can get on.
please join us.
This is a lot of
Please.
fun. There's a link. You'll have to download the app and put it on your phone or your computer. But you know what? That song is pretty relevant.
Yes.
You know, when you think about it, it was written some time ago, but you know what?
Yes.
Imagine. The imagination is the most powerful tool we have. It's the creation. And the creation from here moves into the heart.
Yep.
There's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't create. There's nothing you can't be. So with that, I leave you, you know, with prayers. Matakuyasan, Irisikwi, Aho, Ho'oponopono. It's good to be here.
It's good to be here.
Be here.
It's good to be here.
It's good to be here.
All right. Much love, guys. Take care and tune in next time. And tomorrow night we have the drum circle. So if you can join us, that'll be at 8 o'clock.
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss
And,
it.
yep. So with that, peace and love, my friends. Be well. I'll take care of you. Take care of me. We'll take care of each other. And we'll get through this together. All right.
Amen.
Peace, love, and light.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
guys. Be good.
Love
Be well.
y'all.
You guys.
All right.